Hello, 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 and welcome back to The 12. This is a show about the Women's Super League, aka the highest division of women's football in England. We're here to discuss all things WSL, both on and off the field. Each week, we'll be breaking down games, showcasing stars, and highlighting important stories surrounding the game. My name is Deepti, and I'm here with two co-hosts today, Treb and Marc. Tom is not able to be with us tonight, but he's the one who told us what we're going to start talking about today. And it's about these player rankings. And I want you guys to know that in our notes, he has said, insert Tom's eye roll. He's eye rolling so hard at these. He can't be here. We're talking about the Guardian top 100 best female footballers in the world for the year 2025. Every year, the Guardian puts out a list, and actually, you guys might know better who gets to vote on this. I think it's different media or members from the media, um, maybe others as well. I'm not actually entirely sure, but this list is like every other list, and like the Ballon d'Or that we didn't talk about a lot, but we it's one of those where yes, the eyes will roll, and it's always super Eurocentric, um, and blah blah blah. So, Treb, why don't you start? Just thoughts on like top
Uh,
100.
I think there's two schools of thought, right? Like you said, it's the typical kind of list that we see coming out of Europe when it comes to these things, where it's like very much a lot of the same five teams, right? Like you have a lot of Barcelona, a lot of Arsenal, a lot of Chelsea in the top 20. There's a lot of Euros. There's two from I'm just looking at this. There's four NWSL players in the top 20, which is a lot more than usual. I will say that. The highest rank is Temwa Chwenga at 6.
which I
Um,
appreciate.
I will be honest. I'm not. I do think she should be top 5 over Hannah Hampton, but I'm not too mad at them having her at 6. I think that's a lot more respect than she typically gets in these kind of lists. So I think top 10 for her is an absolute given. I think that she's one of the best attackers on the planet, regardless of whatever league she's playing in. But at the same time, like I understand, we have like the top 5. We have Bon Mati at 1, which I think is almost standard at this point. Mariona Caldente at 2, Alessia Russo at 3, Alexia Pateas at 4, and like I mentioned, Hannah Hampton at 5. I think Chawinga should probably replace Hampton at 5. That would be my top 5. Um, but yeah, it's pretty standard. I think that one thing that we talked about before recording was that if it seems like the players that played in the Euro tournament in that Euro over the summer, I think that they got a really big boost. And this is a list that's supposed to cover the calendar year of 2025. So you're talking about the second half of Champions League and domestic league seasons last season, on top of the summer tournaments, which was the Euros, and then part of what this season has been so far. So when you take all of that into account, I'm not too mad at it. Uh, yeah, what else can you really say about these kind of lists? Uh, other than like they're pretty standard. I will say, like I said, like I think you have Esther Gonzalez at 17. Like I think she should be higher. I think the fact that you have Bunny Shaw at 18, that to me is a little bit crazy because
Yo.
shout out to Tom. Like I'm sure he would absolutely agree with that. Where it's like, I just you look at someone like Bunny Shaw, like she seems to score all the time when she plays. So,
Is this one of
um,
those things where this is specifically a 2025 list and the fact that she missed so much time, like, is that what's
maybe,
happening?
maybe.
Because I
I think
saw
because she
that
did
too and
miss
I
a
was
lot
like,
of last season.
damn, dog. Like, when especially,
Yeah,
like, okay, not to pick on a particular player, but like her versus Chloe Kelly being 11,
I
you
was gonna
know?
say that was honestly in my mind where I was like, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, I would probably put Bunny Shaw like over Chloe Kelly, who's at 11. But
Right.
again, like I said, sorry about that. I think a big part of like what this list is not just the end of last season domestically in Champions League, but Euros. And if we're being honest, like Chloe Kelly had probably the best run of second half of the season and summer that we've seen from any player on the planet to be on. Like, again, like she went from almost out of the England picture with City to going to Arsenal, transforming their season, transforming her career, winning the Champions League, and then going into that Euro and coming up big in a lot of the matches. Even though she didn't score, she assisted a lot. And so it's like, when you take that into consideration, I guess I can see why she's ahead of Bunny Shaw. But if just in my soul, as someone who watches this league a lot, seeing Bunny Shaw at 18 just feels wrong. So, but again, like it's one of those lists that I feel like is standard that we see a lot.
I want to. Is Deepti still with us? I don't
No.
see her.
She's coming back though. We're gonna get her back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. No. So, like, I was just thinking, like, as you were talking, it's just like looking at this list and thinking about how it's composed. So you look at the top 10, like 9 out of these 10 players played in either the Champions League final or the Euro final, and outside, and the only exception being Temwa Schwingo, right? And then, like, out of those 9 players, Hannah Hampton and Ever Pyro are the only ones who didn't play in both, right? And so, like, I think, and to be honest, like, that's fair enough. I mean, like, I think in terms of club competitions, the UEFA Champions League final is the strongest. Like, I will concede that. I think that's fair enough. Like, just in terms of the teams, the players, the amount of quality you have in that competition, and then, like, the Euro final, the Euros in general, like, that was. Wait, was the Copa? Was the Copa in 2025 as well?
I feel like you had. I know that the African Cup of Nations was.
Okay. No, yeah, because there was all that soccer going on at the same time.
Because we had African Cup of Nations with Nigeria kind of winning at the death of a lot of their games during that same tournament. I want to say Copa America happened.
Yeah, because it was that crazy.
I think all
the
those
Brazil final, right?
tournaments are the same. Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil-Colombia final.
It did happen. Yeah, it did happen. So we had all the tournaments.
So I didn't look at this before. Now, how many Brazilian players are there on here? 6? See, and Marta at 19. Like, Marta is a player that could be higher, I feel like.
I could see that.
I do appreciate, though, that they do list every judge and how they voted, so you can see exactly which judges voted how, and, like, you can kind of see which ones have the bias or which ones maybe have, like, I mean, obviously, no one can watch all the soccer in the world always.
We
there's
can.
always just
We
so
do
much
it.
happening. True, we can. We do it. But you can still tell when there is, like, bias towards, like, Europe and who's only paying attention to certain players too. Not even, like, all European players or leagues, just, like, WSL and, like, the top, like, like Barcelona, Lyon, those basically, Bayern, etc.
Well, that's why I'm surprised that Temwa got 6, because, like, I think in a lot of these lists, she tends to get outside the top 10, and you're like, does anyone watch the NWSL at all?
Right.
So the fact that, like I said, that there are 4 NWSL players in the top 20, I think is a step forward and shows that the mix of judges that they got at least attempted to watch as much football as they can.
And there's also just a lot of judges. Like, this is a long list of people. People in media, coaches, technical staff. Like, so, like, this is a pretty thorough list. I mean, fair enough to the Guardian.
But, like, I also feel like some of it is just like you could, like, in the first top 20, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Barcelona players.
Yeah.
I think that's too many. Like, all due respect to Barcelona, I know that, coming into Champions League final against Arsenal, they were the perennial, best team in Europe, but I think that they didn't have 6 players that were the best players on the planet, or the top 20 best players on the planet in 2025. Like, they just didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I think Pior probably had a little bit of a down season. I don't think she's probably an 8 for 2025. Claudia Pena, I can see her being at 9, I guess. I'll accept that. But just like I don't know, like I just think that like you look at how many Barcelona players are. There's like they're not the only team in Europe. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Right,
exactly.
right.
Like especially when you consider the players behind them, right? Like Barbara Banda had a phenomenal 2025. Melchi Dumerne, like she has been on fire for the last year and a half. Like you mentioned, Marta has been on fire for the last couple of years, playing not only just for Orlando Pride but for Brazil. So
Yeah, and that's where it's hard to separate, like, for individual awards, the individual player against their team. And so, like, a lot of the players that we think and who that we know that play really well are not on like the best teams. Like, obviously, Barcelona's like perennial winners, and so that's why a lot of their players are on this list. But if you stack up just individually, if they go like 1v1 against a lot of the ones that are ranked below them, they maybe are not better than them. So it's like it's really hard to say it. Like, I to be honest, I don't know if I would be able to vote and like do it properly either.
fair,
Right.
fair.
Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like take it with a grain of salt because no one's ever going to be happy with the list. And
No.
like, yeah, it's just sometimes it's a fun thing. I do wonder how much the players really care about it, or if they're just like also kind of like, yeah, it's whatever. And then they like go around the team like, hey, you go. It's kind of, I don't know. I kind of feel like you wouldn't really care. You would just be like, yeah,
I
this
feel like
is
NWSL
cool. Just
players
another
care.
like sort of thing.
I feel like
Maybe,
NWSL
yeah, yeah.
players care because there's always talk of like, here's stateside, like there's always asking those players how they feel about certain lists that came out, and there's always like it's always met with eye rolls because they feel like they don't get that proper respect, which,
Mm,
as someone who covers the NWSL and loves that league, I agree they don't always get that respect, but as someone who's trying to be objective about it, I can also see why, right? Like it's hard to judge a league like the NWSL that has zero competitions outside of domestic competition, right?
Right.
Like you can call that league the best league in the world and they have the most parity and top to bottom, they might be the best league in the world. But like, right now it's just theory. Like, do I think that Kansas City Current could probably beat, you know, an FC 20 or like, a Real Madrid in the Champions League tournament? I feel like they probably could, but we'll never know. And I think that hurts
right.
the NWSL because it's like you don't, with all these other teams, you at least get that opportunity. Like you've seen Chelsea versus Barcelona, you've seen Arsenal versus Barcelona, you've seen, you know, Olympique Lyonnais against all these other teams. So like you have these other tournaments outside of their leagues where you're just like, okay, we've seen these players stack up against one another consistently enough to determine a ranking. Whereas like with NWSL, you really haven't. So I understand that aspect. But I also feel like if you know ball, like you can look at someone like Temwa Chewinga and be like, yeah, that player can translate against anyone because she is like supremely talented. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like Deepti said, no one's ever going to be completely happy with these lists.
Cool. Okay. Um, we'll move on to talking about game recap. So we have taken a slight break. The WSL has taken a slight break. They haven't had a match the last 2 weekends, and they're back tomorrow as of when we're recording this. But we'll talk about match day 8 first. And just to recap, sorry, match day 9, but just to recap after match day 8, for our prediction game, the standings were Treb was in 4th with 24 points, Marc in 3rd with 26 points, then Tom at 31 points, and myself in the lead with 33 points. If you remember, match day 8, our predictions were really bad, and I think like altogether we had maybe 2 points in total. This week was not much better, I will say. I think we a total of like 3 or 4 points maybe. But especially the later games, we all completely misjudged those. So we'll start with the Manchester Derby, Man City and Man United. I really wish Tom was here to talk about this actually, because City just completely dominated United and thumped them 3-0. Prediction wise, Treb was the only one who had called a City win. So 1 point for Treb, but the rest of us, I thought United would win. I thought it'd be higher scoring, like 3-2. United, Marc had a 2-2 draw, and Tom had a 1-1 draw. Once again, we will never trust Tom on what he says about his team because he just keeps convincing us to go against them, and they always come out on top. So he needs to start trusting them, and I think he's still playing the like anti-jinxing game, but I'm never gonna trust him
It's
what he
reverse
says about it again.
psychology.
Yeah.
It's reverse psychology.
But did you all watch this one?
I did.
Marc, you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did watch this one, man. Ooh, I mean, like just from minute one, like from really early on, City was on top of them, and like
Mm-hmm.
it was 3-0 at halftime, and that was the game. The
Mm-hmm.
last two goals came. I think. I know the last one came in injury time, and I think the second to last one came in like the 44th minute or something like that. But yeah, just a really impressive performance by City. The first goal was off a set piece. Kicking it to Bunny Shaw is always a good idea, and it's something that they've done a lot this season where they plant her on the back post. They just kick it to her. No one can jump with her, and then Rebecca Knock got the goal off the header back in. The second goal was it was probably my favorite goal because I forget who it was dribbling. I think it was it might have been I can't remember who. The center back for City. It was dribbling coming up the right channel, and she had Kasparai onto her right, and you could see Bunny Shaw kind of directing her to pass the ball out wide. As soon as the ball goes out wide, Bunny Shaw makes that run, and it's like you can see what's about to happen, but nobody can stop it. And
Mm-hmm.
she scores. Kasparai plays a perfect cross, and it's basically a sliding tap in for Bunny. And then third goal, United try to kind of play out the back. They give the ball away. City counter really quickly. Lauren Hemp is like wide open on the about from 20 yards out. And by the way, this is Lauren Hemp's first start I think the first start for the season, but definitely in the league. And just finished top left corner, top ends with her left foot. Like what a way to welcome herself back. And yeah, like I said, it was 3-0 at halftime. It was over at that point. And at this point, I think you have to say City are definitely title contenders, and at the very least, the ball's in their court.
Mm-hmm.
Given some of the other results and what the table's looking like at this point. But yeah, I mean, like we've talked a lot about other teams and the players that they're missing, but City, like they didn't have Hemp for a while. I know Bunny Shaw kind of missed a couple games. They Tom Tom would definitely be no City.
Caroline's out.
Yeah,
Yeah, Caroline's out. They
So
still
like
have no Mary Fowler.
Like they are missing quite
A
a few
few.
actually.
Yeah.
And they're still sitting in first, and so they have players to come back. Like I don't know, City are pretty dangerous, especially if Bunny Shaw stays healthy. Like that's kind of always the thing for them.
Yeah. I think I don't actually. So, God, this is what happens when their match is 3 weeks ago. But it's like trying to remember. I think Miedema had a decent game. For me, she's still like I love Viv. I'll always love Viv, but she's still kind of like hit or miss now. Sometimes some matches she'll have like be amazing and have such shining moments, and some it'll be just kind of quiet. But I think this season is better for her than last season was. So far, that what we're seeing, in terms of like her and Bunny Shaw playing together. I know people were like initially like, "Oh, how's that going to work?" But I think it has worked for them, and we can see that, especially from like the last few matches, that that's kind of worked. And um, I think one big point to make also though is that United didn't have Valentinus Joyce, who was out with a fractured eye socket, and that makes a huge difference. We talk about we've talked about, especially with Arsenal in the past as well, how whoever's in goal can really make or break the way your defense also plays and like feels in terms of confidence. Um, so not having your number one keeper who has won you several games, like in the last couple, like this season and last season, is a huge just like mind shift and having to change just I guess like mentally, but also probably the tactics in terms of like how much you maybe press and like all this other stuff to stop the counter. It's hard. Like Saf Middleton Patel, I think did actually really well, and the second goal she could have done better with, but the I think the first and third, and especially like Hemp's goal, there was nothing really that she
Nothing you
could
can
do
do.
about it,
Yeah.
and so it's not yeah, scoreline doesn't look great, but I think for being put like into a big match like this in one of her first few starts in the WSL, I think the United keeper did pretty well actually.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that one, Treb?
Not really. I mean, I think the center back Marc was talking about was Jade Rose. She's been phenomenal for the team uh, since her arrival. But yeah, I mean, it was a classic City performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It felt like they showed up for the derby more than Man United did. But I also think, like you mentioned, that a lot of that had to do with the fact that Fallon Tillers-Joyce wasn't there. I've said it before, like she's one of the goalkeepers that I felt like won them several matches just off of her presence alone. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think you're seeing just what her absence is done to the team. They probably can't wait to get her back because I think they're really vulnerable right now, and it's a bad time to be vulnerable where you have 4 or 5 teams legitimately competing for those top 3 spots. So,
Yeah.
um,
I was gonna say, is this like the first time this season that we've seen United this vulnerable?
oh yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
like it's hard to say until she comes back and then we'll see how they go. Like if because sometimes once you start losing, you just keep losing and it's like vice versa as well. If you start winning, you like continue to do so. So is it one of those things where yeah, as soon as she comes back, they kind of switch on again? We'll only see. But yeah, you're right. This is like the most vulnerable they've been.
yeah. I mean, it depends on how healthy she is when she comes back, because like messing up your eye socket, I would imagine, is not conducive to having a successful kind of time as a keeper, right? Like if your vision's
Yeah.
affected, I think it
Yep.
depends on how healthy she is when she comes back. Is she going to be coming back right where she was before she got injured, or is she going to be coming back still dealing with like a little bit of blurriness, a little bit of pain? If that's the case, like they're still going to be vulnerable probably for the next few weeks going into that winter break. So it'll be interesting to
Yep.
see how they look with her return.
All right. Then, second game of the weekend was Villa versus London City, and London City won 3-1. Um, Once again, I guess like first half was a little bit more uh even, and by halftime it was 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
And then second half, London City came out really quick and scored 2 more goals within like the first 10 minutes of the second half. And then uh yeah, we were talking about this before we started recording, but London City has just looked stronger and stronger every match, um, to the point where like they're sixth in the table and they're only what is it? A couple points off. Yeah, a couple points off of third of United and third, for the Champions League spot. So is Champions League something that they can like viably go for by the end of the season? I initially like when the season started, I would have said probably not. Like their main goal is just like be mid-table and just stay up. But now maybe they can get there in their first season, which would be ridiculous. But like, it's definitely something they can push towards.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like you mentioned, I feel like when season started, we all felt like finishing 6, 7, 8, like that was the goal, right? It was like just get your feet wet, get used to how the league is, finish mid-table, and then push on from there. Right now, they're starting to figure it out at the best time. I mean, it's a very competitive top of the table. You have teams kind of taking themselves out. Um, I think you have some teams like Arsenal and United that are starting to struggle against lower teams, right? Like Arsenal are dealing with injuries and United are dealing with injuries, and it's just like a really vulnerable time for the teams kind of in that third position fighting for that. And London City seems to be taking full advantage of that. Like they just look better and better and better every week. Goodwin had a goal, and she's looked really good every week. Um, I think that they are a team that is going to be really scary going into that winter break because I think we all know that Michelle Kang isn't going to sit on her hands, right? Like they are going to add in January, and it's just a matter of who they add. Um, you know, I don't want to say the name. I don't want to say the name because I don't think it'll happen. But like, those of you that follow American,
the biggest topic of the week.
Yeah, like those of you that follow American soccer will know that Michelle Kang's other team in NWSL, the Washington Spirit, they have offered Trinity Rodman $1 million contract a year, and it was rejected. And there is some serious tension going on between Trinity Rodman and the NWSL right now. And so that is a player that is going to be highly sought after. And if you think that London City doesn't have at least a chance to sign her, then you really don't know what's going on because like they have a chance. And so, but even if they don't sign Trinity Rodman, like they are going to be focused on getting better because I think right now they're looking at the table and like Deepti mentioned, they're only a win and someone else's loss away from being firmly in that top 3 conversation. And I think right now, what once at the start of the season, what was finish mid-table and see how you do next season, I think right now the goal is see how we look at winter break, add on players, and try to get top 3. Because if they can get Champions League football for next season in year 1, that is a huge statement, and that is putting them in a position to be like, you know what? Maybe we can compete for that WSL title in year 2.
Yeah.
And they have the resources and they have the backing to make that happen. Because Michelle Kang has proven, with Leoness and with the Washington Spirit, like she is someone that wants to compete for championships regardless of where her team is in any domestic league. And so this was a huge win for them. I mean, like they looked really good. I think that's the thing that's impressive is just like, I know Villa isn't the best opponent, but they controlled the game. Villa had more possession, but they had, a lot more threatening shots. Like Villa had 22 shots, but did nothing with them, really, and then London City had 10 shots, but had 3 goals. And so that is a team that is really efficient. They know how to score. And I think it'll be really interesting to see how they do kind of going into that winter break because I think right now the conversation for them is, can we get top 3? And I think that we have to start taking them seriously in the fact that they absolutely can.
Were you going to say something, DT?
No, go ahead.
One of the things that has kind of stood out to me about London City, kind of from close to since the beginning of the season, is their set pieces. Like to the point where it seems like they have plays or routines. Like or 2 of their goals, both by Kumagai, came off of like flick-ons or basically situations where she's crashing the box and arriving right when the ball is coming. Like that's not an accident. That's something that's practiced. And I wonder, with something we see a lot in the men's game or now the proliferation of set piece coaches. And I just wonder if there's somebody on London City staff who is in charge of like coaching set pieces, coming up with these routines and so forth. Like something we've talked about in the past is the difference between clubs that are investing more than others is you often see that in the size of the coaching staff. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if London City has a bigger coaching staff than other clubs. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like like Treb said, like I kind of think to me, they're ahead of schedule. Like I didn't expect them to be this good this quickly. And they kind of seem like they could be a title contending club next season, which, yeah, they are scary.
Yeah, and like Treb said, they're only getting better and they're not done making moves in terms of transfers and acquiring players. So um, they're exciting to say the least. And like I am really just intrigued of how far they will be able to go. In a way, it reminds me of like on the men's side, Wrexham and how they're going up. Um, and I think maybe that's a comparable thing how they got promoted like 2 seasons in a row. And so maybe that's what's happening here where they are able to like do a lot better initially than what people expect, which is exciting. There's always that question of like, if they make Champions League spots now with Kang owning them and the Olympic Lyonnais, will they actually be able to compete? Obviously, that's a bridge that will be crossed when we get there, but that's also something to consider. But either way, just like getting like a top three, top four in this league, when you have the three teams that are always there, will be a massive achievement. In terms of predictions, Treb, Marc, and I all predicted a London City win. So we get 1 point for that because none of us got the score correct. Tom predicted a 4-4 draw, so he does not get a point. That was a lot of faith in Villa to score 4 goals. Which I guess at home, like it's all right.
I feel like Tom had a lot of draw predictions that week.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he was choosing a lot of draws, which like.
Yeah, all right. sharing the love. After that, we had Brighton versus Leicester. Brighton won 4-1 at home. And Leicester, unfortunately, set a new record for longest period without a win on the road at 21 games. That was initially so they were tied with Yeovil Town. That was 20 games, and that was back, it says, between April 2017 and February 2019. But now this new record set by Leicester dates back to January 2024 till now. So 21 games on the road without a win. Not a record you really want. We all predicted incorrectly. I'll just get to that first because we didn't get any of it right. Yeah, we had no faith in Brighton because Treb and Marc had a 1-1 draw, and then Tom and I guessed Leicester would win 1-0. So, yeah, completely wrong there.
I think Brighton needed to show us something, right? Like they've lost Michelle Adjemaine for the season. Even when they had Michelle Adjemaine, like they weren't really finding their offense throughout the year. And even though Leicester has been on this generational run of not being able to win matches on the road, like it just didn't feel like Brighton probably would have much. And so a 4-1 win, like I feel like that was definitely a statement made. Like it opened my eyes because I'm like, okay, well maybe Brighton are starting to turning it around a little bit, right? Like this is a team I don't think any of us feel like is a top 3 team just yet, but I feel like they've been much like the way that we viewed Tottenham, I feel like, in the last few years. Like they've been a team that has just been knocking on the door. And they've just been closer and closer. And, credit to them, like they're doing a lot of it with like loanees and bringing in players in on loan. But I think that, having a strong January will help them. But I think in this match, they did what they should do. I feel like that they were better than Leicester. They finally showed us that they were the better side. They put in 4 goals. They were up, what was it, 2-0 at the half, or 1-0 at the half, and then they had that second goal come in quick in the second half. Mm-hmm. And then, Leicester cut it in half. O'Brien with the goal to make it 2-1, and then Brighton put them away. Third goal in the 87th minute. And then Psyche at the end with a goal in stoppage time. So, but as a whole, like it was a game that Brighton controlled. They had far more possession. They had more shots. They controlled the pace of the match. It never really looked like they were, the weaker team. Like they looked like the stronger team from beginning to end. and it was a kind of match I feel like they needed that week a lot more than a lot of other teams, right? Like they needed to really assert themselves against an inferior opponent, and they were able to do that. So credit to Brighton. Let me see. I'm just trying to look up like who their next match is. Like I know we're going to talk about the next week coming up, but yeah, it's London City, so they're gonna have their hands full on the road. And we'll get to that later on. But like I think just in terms of this past week, that was a very good show us who you are match, because I think the reason a lot of us didn't pick them to win, or all of us didn't pick them to win, was because they hadn't really showed us anything all season. I want to believe in Brighton, but I need to see it too. And so 4-1 win at home against a weaker side, that's what you should do. That's how you do it. And we'll see if I pick them against London City. We'll see.
Stay tuned.
A little tease, a little tease.
I think it was also a good match between the goalkeepers. Like Ndozie, we know is good. We rate her highly, and then Leitzig as well is a really good keeper, and often we've talked about her last year as well. She like takes on a lot of shots, so she has a lot of chances to make saves. And it according to the stats I'm looking at here, they both had 4 saves. Brighton had just that many more shots on target. They had 8 shots on target total, whereas Leicester had 5. So it's not that they didn't have their chances. They did have some, but just not good enough to get past the keepers. Any other thought on that? Were you about to say something? All right, cool. Moving on. Another result that I think none of us were expecting. Liverpool versus Chelsea. Liverpool at home drew Chelsea 1-1. It started off strong. So we all thought this would be a blowout. These are predictions, right? We had all Chelsea wins, 4-0, 5-0, 5-1, and a touchdown, a whole touchdown, 7-0. Final score 1-1, like I said. Started with Alyssa Thompson scoring in like the first 10 minutes, so we were like, okay, we're on track for a touchdown. But that was it. And then Liverpool equalized in like before the half in 30 something, and then they just stood strong for the next whatever it was, 45 minutes plus. So obviously, Marc, I'm gonna let you take it away and tell us what you thought. But yeah, that was surprising.
Woo, surprising to say the least, man. Yeah, that I'm so like you mentioned earlier, it's been a few weeks since these matches have been played, but I'm just remembering back to me waking up early for that match, like and specifically, okay, so first of all, like Alyssa Thompson's goal in the 9th minute, like really the only bright spot for Chelsea in this match. And like just Alyssa Thompson in general. You know, Chelsea might have underpaid for Alyssa Thompson. No. I think that there's a lot of people in LA who
I'm gonna say Angel City fans will tell you Chelsea underpaid for Alyssa Thompson. Getting her for under $5 million is a steal.
Be like,
period.
The way she's just hit the ground running, and like that was just a classic like winger's goal that she scored, like just cutting in from the left. I
will also say too, like just real quick, like just from an LA perspective, she has been a lot more consistent with scoring goals with Chelsea in her short time than she was with Angel City. And to be fair, she seemed to have been getting there with Angel City, but just a lot of times, like the moves that she's making with Chelsea would end up, either in hesitated shots or not really getting clear looks or, passing the ball somewhere else. So I don't know if that's a credit to like the system or just a credit to her newfound confidence with the move, but she's been a lot more consistent with taking those shots and converting those shots in the WSL. So shout out to that for getting the goal scorer supreme version of Alyssa Thompson.
I know, right? Like it's but no, like Deepti said, like after that, there wasn't much. And Liverpool's goal, like, I've watched this maybe a dozen times by now, and I really can't tell you what Millie Bright's doing. Like, Chelsea are on the attack, first of all. Chelsea are on the attack. Vika Kaptein, like, can either pass to Joanna Redding Canarid or Macario making the run through the middle. She somehow passes to neither. It's just this underhit pass that goes to a Liverpool defender. They start off on the counter. Natalie Bjorn is like desperately trying to win the ball back because she knows that she's in Liverpool's half, and she probably has in the back of her mind, slow ass Millie is back there like about to get cooked, and Millie is like, Natalie Bjorn stops the ball, and like Lily Woodham tries to play Olsen through once, Bjorn intercepts it, but it goes back to Woodham, and like basically Millie Bright has a moment to like assess the situation of the fact that she's the last person back, that if Olsen, that she's nowhere close to Olsen, and that if Olsen gets the ball and takes off, she's not gonna catch her, and like she's just like lollygagging. Like can't explain it, but yeah, ball goes through the Olsen, and like I remember watching this, and like as soon as the ball went through the Olsen, I was like, she's gonna score. Like there's no way Millie Bright's catching her. Like that's not Hannah Hampton back there. Like she's absolutely gonna score, and she did. And then so like even after that happened, I was like, okay, like surely we are gonna score. We'll probably score before halftime. And then it looked like that was gonna happen. Kat Macario had a chance, like maybe 6-7 yards out, like just outside the small box, with the goalkeeper lying down, and she somehow missed. Like I started celebrating when the ball left her foot because I assumed it was going in the goal. Somehow missed. Anyway, Kat Macario and Millie Bright are hooked at halftime. Naomi Germer comes on, and also Beaver Jones. And yeah, we also saw Lauren James come on in the 72nd minute. She got her first WSL minutes. But yeah, it wasn't enough. Chelsea just, I was looking at the numbers, and the expected goals are about even, 1.13 to 1.11, and honestly, like I felt like in the second half there really wasn't much from Chelsea. Like I thought the passing was pretty poor overall, and it was, I mean, like actually, and Lily Woodham had a shot near the end that like didn't miss by much. Like we almost lost because of a Lily Woodham screamer. I would have that would have ended me. Like I don't know if I could have done this recording.
I saw that and I was like, "There's no shot." I was like, "Oh my god, they're about to," and then I was like, "Oh my god."
My heart skipped a beat. Like I was like, oh, because Peng was not having that, did not have that post covered. Like, but yeah, like I don't think Chelsea can have any complaints about the result. I think, and shout out to Liverpool. Honestly, I mean, they've had such a rough go of it. Like they deserve that point. You know. But yeah, like from a Chelsea perspective, definitely the worst performance and certainly worst result of the season. So, yeah, it was. So I don't really go on Twitter anymore. I still have an account, right? Just because unfortunately it's like the best place to get certain news and so on and discussions, right? I was scrolling Twitter after this game, and it was a lot of get Millie Bright out of there conversation from Chelsea fans, and so I think it's starting to happen, and I think it's like kind of been bubbling low key for a while, but this match in particular, it was like, no, she's got to go. Like this is no bueno. Like, oh man.
When you started off this part with being like, "Oh, there's one bright spot," I thought you were about to make a Millie Bright joke, but that you're actually talking about this.
No, actually, you're right. No, there was a second bright spot. That's the last we've seen of Millie Bright. I mean, technically, right? Like, but yeah, I don't know. Like I mentioned, just a shocker result, and I think that it forced some necessary changes from Sonia going into the Barcelona match.
Yeah, I mean, was this the match where they set like the record of
Oh,
34? Yeah, there was like unbeaten WSL games, and like that was what they took from it.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, because even the commentator at the end was like, a new record set, but probably not the way they want it. Yeah, that is right. Yeah, the record, the unbeaten streak record. I think it's 36 or something like that. I can't remember. I honestly,
Yeah.
I don't care about it. Like, that's just
Fair
so
enough.
annoying. Just such an annoying result. But
But
also, this is why I say the ball's in Manchester City's court, because now they have a 3-point lead on Chelsea, and Chelsea go visit Manchester City on February 1st, which is, when you consider the winter break, it's not that far away. So, Chelsea, I mean, Manchester City could conceivably go into that game with a 3-point lead.
And come out with a 6-point lead.
You know? So, like, they've kind of, look at what they did to Arsenal and United at home. So,
they still have to come to Arsenal too, though. Don't make that mistake. I said they still have to come to the Emirates too, though.
True.
Fresh off a break, but
true.
But like you said, important point for Liverpool, because that was only their second point of the season. And it's an important one because they're in the relegation race with West Ham and Everton, who were the two teams who played as well this weekend. And West Ham got their first win over Everton, 3-1. Sad loss for Everton. I think, yeah, all of us were expecting an Everton win. Treb thought it would be a draw. So again, no points for us. But we did, I think we failed to notice that Kelly Gago was not playing for Everton again. And so, once again shows how just vital she is to Everton's success. I think she's back now because she played over the international break. And I believe she scored in at least one of the games. So, like, for France. And so, I don't know. At these teams, every week, I, like, change how I feel about them, because I'm like, sometimes, like, Everton, I was like, I was with them at the start of the season. I was like, they're going to do so well. And then they're in 10th now with only 5 points. So they haven't really done anything much. Obviously, there's still a long way to go, and like, they're not going to get relegated, in my opinion, but still, they're not convincing.
Are we sure?
We're not sure about anything.
Because let's and shout out to Tom, because I feel like this is where Tom would say, Chigwell magic, right? Like, this is this is what West Ham West Ham seem to do. They have the wildest home field advantage, I think. I really want to say on the planet, because it is crazy for a team as bad as they are. They get at home, and they don't always win at home, but they seem to just have some of the more wild wins when they do win at home. And like Deepti said, we had expected so much of Everton this season. At least I did. I thought they would be a mid-table team. I really liked the way that they ended last season with the new owners coming in. I thought things were changing for the better. They are taking steps backwards. And to get blown out, West Ham had 19 shots, Everton had 7. Everton controlled most of the possession, but West Ham had 19 shots to Everton's 7. West Ham
and only one was on target of that 7.
And so West Ham completely dominated that match. And West Ham is not a good team, but they absolutely dogged Everton at home. And that's what you should do when you have a home field advantage at Chigwell, where it's eerie things happen in that stadium. And Everton are just the latest victims. And honestly, Everton didn't score until the 88th minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a 3-0 match for 88 minutes. Or not, I mean, I guess not 80 because, like, you know, West Ham had to score. But like West Ham was in control, and their last goal was in the 54th minute. So for a good 30 minutes, it was a 3-0 match, and really Everton just got a consolation goal. I think by that point, West Ham had realized we're going to win this match, and they were just like, you know, happy to be there. You know what I mean? Like, they were just like, this is great. Like, this is awesome. Okay, we gave it a goal. Fuck it. Who cares? But it was just so shocking watching that match because I'm like, am I still half asleep? Is this really happening? Like, is this match live? Is this from like 3 years ago? Like, why is West Ham doing this to Everton? So shout out to West Ham because that was, you know, kind of like I talked about with Brighton, where it was like a statement win. Like, I think that, you know, when you look at the table, right? Like, let me just kind of go back to this WSL table. Like, you look at the table, and it's West Ham and Liverpool and Everton, basically. And I guess you could throw Leicester in there because they are kind of like close, right? Like, it's a 4-team race for the bottom. I think we all feel like Liverpool are leading that race. But like, this was a huge win for West Ham because that puts them 2 points clear of Liverpool. I think it really puts Everton in a spot where, like, even though they're a point clear of West Ham, like, it puts them in a spot where they got to be feeling like, you know what direction are we going in? Right? Because, like, you lose on the road to them. They were able to bounce back. I think it was in the Subway Cup, right? Was it the Subway Cup where they bounced back against Newcastle, got the win? But their next WSL match is on the road to Chelsea. So, like, unless Everton pull a Liverpool, like, I think it's safe to say they're losing that match. So good luck with that. But yeah, I think, you know, West Ham, I don't know. Like Deepti said, these teams at the bottom are just so hard to predict because, like I said it a couple weeks ago, and I maintain it, Liverpool, for as bad as they are, they've come close so many times. And it kind of worries me as an Arsenal fan, who we'll talk about next, and like the injuries Arsenal are dealing with. Like, we play Liverpool next. We play them tomorrow. This recording is on a Friday. Like, we play them tomorrow. So they've been close to getting results. And I think it's just going to take maybe a 3 to 4 match run for them to get safe of that relegation zone. And I think they have it in them. So I that's why I say, like, are we sure Everton won't be in that relegation race? Because if West Ham are improving and if Liverpool can figure out a way to kind of stack on a couple wins, maybe even just get draws over the next 5-6 matches going into winter break, like, Everton could be really finding themselves right at the bottom of the table, which I think would be super disappointing, considering where we all thought that they would be. But yeah, these 3 teams at the bottom, like, I have no clue how to predict them because some weeks they look like actual, you know, dog water, and other weeks they look like teams that can beat anybody. So your guess is as good as mine.
Exactly. I completely forgot what I was going to say. So, Marc, if you have any thoughts.
I guess what I thought was interesting about this match is, because to me, this was the matchup of 2 teams who, going back to last season, we thought they were relegation candidates, and then the winter window came around. Both of them made moves. You know, Shakira Martinez for West Ham in particular, Kelly Gago, and I'm forgetting who else Everton brought in, but I know obviously Kelly Gago for sure. And both of them had a bit of a resurgence, right? And I think there was a bit of optimism coming into this season for both of them, right? Everton started off, like, I was just looking at this, like, Everton, ever since that first win, they hadn't won any matches until their most recent one against Newcastle. But between the first match of the season and the most recent match, it's a lot of red. Like, and so, you know, and then for West Ham, it's almost the opposite, right? Where it's a lot of red in the beginning, and then, you know, they kind of turned it around recently. But yeah, I don't know. It's I just thought it was interesting. Like, both these teams kind of had both of them had a little bit of a resurgence, and then now they're kind of back to, are they relegation fodder? Are they better than that? And I just wonder, like, for both of these managers, really, like, how much time do they have? How much time does Vidicic have? How much time does or wait, is it Vidicic for Everton? I was getting mixed up with Brighton.
No, it's Vidicic is Brighton. It's Brian Sorensen, the Danish guy.
Yeah. So, like, how much, because Sorensen's been there a while now, and
he's been there a while, yeah.
He's kind of been grandfathered in with the new ownership, but it's like, maybe they'll want maybe they have somebody else in mind that that they think can lead the club better. And Rehan Skinner has been there a while now for West Ham, and so it's like, even if they survive, like, West Ham can't keep going on being relegation candidates season after season. So I don't know. It's kind of a crossroads, I think, for both of these clubs. But obviously, in the moment, the main goal for both of them is to survive.
West Ham might just need new ownership, period, right? Because, like, do they have, like, their owners are also the owners of the men's side, which are also relegation candidates and playing some of the worst football on the planet right now. So, like,
and they spend money on them.
Like, that's the crazy part is, like, West Ham actually try and they just suck so bad. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, they try so hard, to the best of their capabilities as kind of like a, I guess, mid to lower table team, like, without so much resources. But, like, they just might need new ownership, right? Like, I think they're very much in the same position that Everton was in a couple years ago, where it was like we were looking at Everton and they just seem to not be able to get out of their own way. And I know it's ironic saying, like, considering I just talked about how Everton, despite new ownership, is still fighting for relegation. But I just feel like, like, if you can get some new money in, some new resources, some new kind of like confidence, vigor, something. But, like, yeah, like, West Ham as a whole, just, on both sides, is really in a sad place right now. And I feel bad for Hammers fans because they're trying to look for some source of joy and they don't have it anywhere.
Fair. Yeah. And it's like, I guess some of these bottom table teams have such a reliance on just one or two players that when they're not there, you can see how it really takes a toll and, like, it takes a tumble. So I guess for, like, we say Kelly Gago is Everton's one player that, without her, I haven't looked up the exact numbers, but I'm curious, like, how many points they've dropped when she's not on the pitch versus how many they have gained. For West Ham, do they have that one star player who, like, without them, they won't get anything? Or is it just, like, they truly are a hit or miss? Like, on some days they are good, some days not.
Well, like, you had Viviane Esai, who had a good season last season, but I don't think she's been firing quite the same so far this season. Shakira Martinez came in and had an impact for, halfway through the season, but again, like, I think until recently she hadn't scored so far this season, right? So, but outside of those two, I mean, like, I think Rico Wakey is a good player, or at least a decent player. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't think on paper West Ham don't seem like a bad team, but
Yeah, like, they, right?
they should be better than this. It feels like. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think we'll ever be able to, like, predict or anything. And like you said, it's also the magic of Chigwell. Some days it's just there.
Everton got smacked. Like, it's one thing to lose. Like, they got.
And I like, when
dominated.
I watched the highlights, the third goal especially, I was like, Everton's defense just stopped. Like, they just didn't do anything. Like, that, at least the first and third for sure should have maybe been dealt with better. Second goal was on, like, a set piece. It was a header. Can't really stop that one. But the first and third, it was just, what is Everton doing? Anyway.
Yeah.
The next one's even more annoying. It was the North London derby.
Here we go.
Tottenham and Arsenal at Tottenham. It ended 0-0. Horrible watch, I must say. I was very angry after those 2 hours, 90 minutes. But yeah, this was the one match that we said Arsenal needed to show us what they got again. It was, Marc, what did you call it? You had a name for it.
The get right match.
Get right match, that's it. This was supposed to be their get right match, where they were supposed to score multiple goals. We predicted 5-1, 4-2, 5-0, and 4-1. Much like the Chelsea-Liverpool match. It did not go that way. 0-0. It was so just like, just a poopy match.
To be fair, right? Like, I've been the stats guy tonight. To be fair, Arsenal had more possession of that match. They had 13 shots with 4 on target. They tried their hardest to score. Like, they were getting in opportunities. Olivia Smith was getting into spaces. They just could not find the back of the net to save their life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made it more annoying was, like, they controlled that match. They were the better team in that match. They had more chances in that match. And they probably should have had a goal in that match. But it was just, credit to Tottenham's defense. They were really good. The goalkeeper had the game of her life. They kept us out.
Can I also say though, like, okay, 13 shots is fine. Like, I love when they shoot and they have to shoot, but with only 4 on target is not going to get you those goals. Like, there's a point where being like wasteful with just shooting when you can't. Whereas I think what I found this season, the biggest problem is like getting into the final third and just being wasteful with it. And once they get into like not even just the third, but into the box as well, a lot of the players either take an extra touch or just like or shoot too early or like it's way off target, or they just don't like even try. Like we only have a couple, I feel like, real shooters on the team at this point.
It's just Alessia Russo, or I think the real shooters are Stina Blackstenius, Alessia Russo, and Olivia Smith.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Chloe Kelly when she's healthy and Olivia Smith. I
She
wouldn't
just
even
hasn't been
put Russo
healthy.
on there sometimes. Yeah,
I guess. I mean, I guess she's not a shooter, right? Like she's more of a cleanup poacher, but
right. And so, yeah, 13 shots is great, but at this point with players like that, you need to be more clinical and like have more than just 4 of 13 on target.
True. I think that it's also important to remember that Olivia Smith is coming back from injury. So I think that was a lot of what you saw was just, I think here, let me make sure I get this right, because I believe she came on as a sub. I don't think she started that match. Yeah, she didn't start. She came on in the 46th minute. So, still a lot of time, but not like enough to really impact. I think once Olivia Smith gets healthy, and it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal line up tomorrow, because I think she is at the point where she can probably go, a full 90, if not 75. So I think she will start against Liverpool. I think when she's in there, they have a lot more oomph going forward. Like, she creates a lot of shots. She creates her own space. She's a bit in that Alyssa Thompson mold where it's like she's really pacey. She's really good at getting defenders off of her back. She, to kind of take from the men's side, like she reminds me a lot of Saka, where it's like, you know what I mean? Like she's so good at creating her own space and creating opportunities for everyone else and creating opportunities for herself. I think with the Tottenham match, it was just really annoying because, like you said, that was supposed to be a match where we scored goals and we just could not find the back of the net. But it's been the story of the season for Arsenal. And one thing that I really wanted to talk about that has been really obvious with Arsenal is just their inability to make the most out of second chances. I think when you look at the goals scored against them, and we'll talk about the Champions League a little bit down the line, where for Real Madrid had a goal. Like, a lot of the goals that they concede are like second chance goals, right? Like, the ball comes in, you do well to defend it, you try to clear it out, you don't clear it out all the way, the other team gets a second chance, they score, right? Like, Arsenal get those same opportunities and do nothing with it. And it's something that I've noticed that has become increasingly frustrating, where it's like, you know, a ball will be deflected and it'll come off to like Olivia Smith, but she won't get enough on it to get a good shot. Or like, you know, balls will be deflected, they'll come to Leslie Russo. She's not really in position to get a good look. And so like they do not get good second chance opportunities. And I think that that's a big reason why they aren't scoring the way they are, because when you look at last season, and I don't have the numbers like official numbers. I'll probably have to do that for next episode. But like, I just feel like looking at last season, they seem to get a lot of those second chance opportunities where it's like balls are saved, they're there to clean it up. You know, Stina Blackstenius gets open looks, she puts it away. But even in that Tottenham match, like she had a couple open looks and like she just couldn't put it away. And so it was just one of those matches where just a force field was around the net for Tottenham. Like they were able to just enact like a magical force field and we couldn't get through. You know, like I said, we'll talk about Champions League. They got the win in that. So like they were able to prove it a little bit going into international break. But it's just been one of those seasons, I think, for Arsenal. And you know, like I said, we play tomorrow. There's been some news in terms of injury front. The good news is that Leah Williamson and Kim Little, but mostly Leah Williamson, they are both fit and in the squad and ready to go. So I don't think they start. I don't think they're full 90 yet, obviously. But I think the fact that they are available now and can play, I think is going to really change how Arsenal look for the second half of the season, because I've said it all year. I think they really miss Leah Williamson's leadership on that pitch. I think that, you know, what she brings talent-wise is one thing, but I think they're really missing her leadership in terms of like putting players in position and making sure players know their responsibilities and making sure that they're doing what they need to do to like keep everything going. And with her back, I'll be really happy. Of course, with Arsenal, you can never have good without bad. In that injury update, we also found out that Daphne Van Domselaar and Chloe Kelly are both out for the remainder of the year. Not the season as it stands, just the year. So when we play against Liverpool tomorrow, Borb will be between the posts, so we'll see. But just, you know, in terms of that Tottenham match, like Deepti said, it was real frustrating because Arsenal were clearly the better team. They had more chances. They were getting more in attack, and they just could not find that final piece in the final third. And it's been the story of the season. And I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if they need to make, well, I feel like they absolutely need to make moves in January, but like something has to happen, because at this point, I've officially gotten to the point where I'm worried, because the top three is really competitive this season. You have London City now breathing down the necks of everybody. You have Tottenham still kind of hanging around. You have United, who have been consistent with how well they are, and even though they've looked vulnerable, they're getting healthier. So like I really need Arsenal to figure the fuck out, because this next stretch going into winter break and going into that January window is going to make or break their season. And I really feel like they need to get it together and they need to find wins immediately, you know? So, yeah, that Tottenham match was annoying. I'm annoyed. I hate it. Just talking about it annoys me.
Yeah, it was just annoying.
I hate saying this, but I'm just glad that I'm also a staunch supporter of the men's side, because at least we beat the shit out of them in the men's side. That's the only thing that kept me going. Like, I hate Tottenham so much, and the fact that we drew that match 0-0, like, that pisses me off. Like, we should have won that match 2-0. There should have been a win. There should have been 3 points. We should be fighting for third, and it's just been one of those seasons where I just figure it out, because like I'm annoyed.
And we'll talk about this more probably towards like as the season progresses, but I think it's just a more frustrating season than normal because of how last season ended, and it just felt like we were on such a high, and so crashing this hard is not fun. And it's not like, I mean, yeah, we're still fighting for Champions League spot at this point in the table, but I don't know, Tottenham being on level points with Tottenham, being like still a point behind United, several points now behind City and all. It's not where we thought we would be, but I think now,
It's
and like especially after the break, is like when we have to kind of change our expectations for how the rest of the season will go. Into and just like I don't know, see, I at least for me, just have to have lower expectations given the injuries, given I don't know what's happening. There has been some talk about like locker room drama and like whatever, and so
well.
yeah.
Are we really going to open that can of worms? Like, are we really going to talk about the?
No,
I'm
like
just saying
they've
because
shut it
like
down, but like
I think it's also important to remember, right? Like, as much as last season ended in a dream where we won the Champions League in a year we absolutely shouldn't have, I think it's also important to remember this is still 99.9% the same roster that Jonas built. Like, this isn't, like I said all through last season, Renee Slager's got the absolute most out of every single player to end last season. And we saw what it looked like. It was, Leah Williamson getting 19 defensive stops against Barcelona in the Champions League final. It was Mariona Caldente playing out of her skin. It was, a lot of players that really, it was Steph Catley coming into center back and playing out of her mind, right? And I think now you're looking at these players kind of regressing back to where they were, the mean. And like you can't ask these players to play at superhero levels for a year and a half. And so I think now what you're seeing is the truth, which is this isn't a good roster. This isn't a roster that you can compare to Chelsea or City or that is ready to compete for the WSL Championship. And they need to add. I think that was a big reason why they brought in Taylor Hines. That was a big reason why they brought in Olivia Smith. I think those were great additions. I've been on record saying I think in January we really need to go after Sam Coffey in Portland to fix our midfield. I think Arsenal would do well to open up the checkbook and do anything and everything and move hell and high water and move mountains and do whatever the fuck they need to do to get Trinity Rodman. Like, I think that is a player that they need, especially with Chloe Kelly now being out injured. Like, this is a team that still needs to build. And I think that just from a fan perspective, I think we just need to take a step back and be like, yeah, this season compared to how last season ended sucks. And it's not fun. But the goal needs to be top 3 and reloading as much as we can and getting in talent so that next year we can be in a legitimate position to say we're competing for the title now. But I just don't think that this roster is there this season.
Yeah, I concur. Okay, that wrapped up match day 9. So like I said, we didn't get any points for that one prediction-wise, and the prediction standings for our game are as follows. Treb, 26 points. Marc,
I'm coming.
27 points, just a point behind. Tom is at 31, and I have 34.
8 points back. Yeah, 8 points back.
Only 8 points back. We'll see. We've had 2 pretty bad weeks of predictions, so we'll try to do better this time. Before we get to match week 10, or we won't. Yeah, can't promise anything. Really quick, we'll run through the cup competitions because there were Champions League games. There was also Subway Eat Fresh Footlong Cup games, and I'll just run through the scores. We can talk about it a little bit, but score-wise, Wolfsburg thumped United 5-2. Yeah, that was rough on them. Arsenal beat Real Madrid 2-1 in a much needed win. Treb had mentioned earlier that Madrid actually scored first, but Arsenal came back and won, thank God. And Chelsea-Barcelona played as well as they do typically in Champions League. And this time they drew. Chelsea finally got some points off Barca. 1-1 draw. And I think Chelsea actually played really well that one. And so if you want to real quick, just a couple points to highlight each game.
I honestly don't even want to talk about Arsenal. Like you said, we won. That's great. We got the win. Awesome. We move. We'll see how it looks when we play FC20. Congratulations. I just want to hear what Tom has to say about Chelsea and Barca draw, because like that is the one everyone is most keyed in on, right? Like that is the matchup every time they play. So Marc, please take it away.
No, yeah, like so obviously coming off of the back of the Liverpool match, like the vibes weren't great, right? But you know, I think at that point, like we all expected certain lineup changes, and then we basically got it. You know, so Naomi Gurma started, and she played the full 90, and I think that's a big step. You know, playing such a high-profile match like that, such an intense match like that. Um, yeah, you know, and I think what we got ultimately was potentially Chelsea's best performance of the season. Um, you know, it's yeah, it's so the way they set up, yeah, Footmob has this wrong. So Chelsea set up with their three at the back with Carpenter and Baltimore as the wing backs. Um with Cuthbert and Walsh in the middle. Captain again got the start. Probably not my favorite, but like I get why she starts. She's good in possession. She does a lot of like central midfielder stuff, and then she can join the attacking third as well. Thompson again getting the start. I think at this point, like she's gonna play until she like loses form, let's say, or needs a break. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really encouraging performance from Chelsea overall. They started off well. The captain actually hit the post before Chelsea scored their first goal. And then Carpenter scores a screamer, like mm, just a beautiful goal.
Mm-hmm.
And things are good. I think the only blemish from this performance for me is how they gave up the goal. It's a set piece. Like they don't really clear their lines, and then I believe it was Payor. Yeah, Payor just again lashes in, like roofs it. Even if Hampton was there, would have been difficult to stop. But yeah. But after that, like Chelsea had their chances, man. Carpenter should have scored again in the second half. Like give and go with, I believe, was Beaver Jones. Um, we only got one sub in this match. Something I talk about a lot is Juan Pastor doesn't like to make too many subs in big matches. So the only sub we got was Macario coming on for Beaver Jones in the 72nd minute. Well, that's from the Chelsea perspective. Barcelona used four of their subs. But Macario comes on, and it looks like she scored with her first touch. She scored like off a free kick, a nice looping header that ended up in the back of the net. But she was called offside, and it was close. Like I think that if it was not called offside, VAR would not have overturned it. Treb, something you've talked about a lot, or at least before, is like the naked eye can never really tell you. So even when it looks like a player is closer to the line, that's not necessarily an indicator. And what's ironic is 5 days later, Chelsea men played Barcelona at Stamford Bridge, and they had a goal off of a corner. There was like a short corner routine, right? But it looks like the ball before the ball across, it looks like the player Kukurea might have been offside, but by the automated system, he was onside. And so, like, even in situations where we have VAR, you're gonna get in the women's game, we're gonna have situations like that where, like, we had this in the men's game as well, right? Where the offside, like, it's not perfect, like the system's not quite there yet.
Well, I think it's also because like on the women's side we don't quite have what we have on the men's side. Like with the men's side, they don't only have like a lot more camera angles, but they have the automated, the bald head technology where
Right.
it's like they
Yeah.
very much can tell like this is the margins. Where it's like in the women's side, even in Champions League, it's from what I understand, it's not as in depth. It's like they still have cameras and you can still see kind of angles, but they don't have that like automated for sure, like this is the line, here's the bald heads, like this is where people are. And so yeah, I mean, at least in Champions League you have offside. I mean, my complaint was in the WSL where we don't even have
Yeah.
the offsides and we had to rely on, the naked eye of a referee who allowed Alessia Russo's goal to stand when she was 10 yards off a side. So how can I trust that referee's opinion on offside onside when, like, as an Arsenal fan, I'll clearly admit Alessia Russo was 10 yards offside. You allowed that goal to stand, and then you call an offside on a goal that was, like, this close. So, like, how can I be confident in that? But, yeah, like you said, with Champions League, it's not where the men's side is. And even on the men's side, like, the margins are always so thin that it's like sometimes I look at their replays and the bald heads and I'm like, I don't know if that's like I find myself questioning it where I'm just like, I don't know, to my naked eye it looked different than what you're showing me, but I guess I'll take it. Right. But like it looked different.
Because I'm even like, how can it be that accurate? Like, how can it be that sure? Like, I get it, I understand it, but it's still like, I don't know, man. But that's the thing about offside, right? It has to be. It's either is or isn't. It's the most objective.
I think you're right, though. I think had they called Macario onside, that goal probably stand. Like we see it a lot in American football, in the NFL, where it's like the ruling on the field, right? Yeah. Like you have to have so much evidence to overturn the ruling on the field, and that's why sometimes the ruling on the field is so important. Where it's like, I think had they called Macario onside, you're right. I don't think there would have been enough there to be like, she's clearly offside. So I think from your perspective, you got a little bit unlucky with what the side judge called it. Because I think whatever whatever the side ref called it is what would have stood with VAR. So.
Yeah. So, but overall, I mean, like, considering how poor they were against Liverpool, this is like the complete opposite. And what's funny, too, is, like, this was, like, the third 1-1 match in 10 days, thereabouts, with the Arsenal match, Liverpool match, and, like, all, like, three distinctly different vibes. Mm-hmm. Like, the 1-1 against Arsenal was, like, disappointing, kind of lucky, really. The one against Liverpool was just bad, nothing to really take from that. And then this one, like, really encouraging, and I think for me, like I said, I think the lineup that you saw here, I think this is like kind of the framework of what we'll see going forward. Like, so Bob Pasto has talked about it in press releases recently, like the tactical revolution at Chelsea, and kind of what she's trying to do, and she's trying to do this three at the back. And I think now with Germa healthy, like, this is it to me. Like, you're seeing the difference. Like, there was this one sequence, I forget who, it might have been Payor who took the shot, but like, there's a through ball onto the Barcelona player. It looks like she's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Nobody else is in the frame. And then out of nowhere, like, Germa comes and blocks a shot. It's like, that's what we were missing. Like, I said that in the chat, and I was like, thank you for your service, Millie Bright. Like, good luck to your
Germa's back from war. Like, get her home and in there. Yeah,
man. I'm telling you, like, she just makes such a difference. And so I'm just really, I guess, excited to see, like, how the play evolves from here, right? Because I think from here, it should improve.
The one thing that I wanted to know, like, real quick, like, before we move on from the Champions League stuff, is just, I feel like, and Marc, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because, like, I want to get your opinion on this, where it's like, I feel like when Carpenter arrived, there was a sense of like, okay, like, she's here, she's an okay player, like, I guess we're happy to have her. Like, you didn't really view her as a game changer, but I feel like in her time at Chelsea, like, I feel like she's been so good going forward from that right back position and impacting the attack and doing so much for you guys out of that defensive role. Like, how do you feel about Carpenter's, like, now that you've had half a season to see her with the team and just see the impact that she made? Like, do you feel like, okay, yeah, we got to steal with that one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll admit this off the bat. Like, I didn't know she was that fast, right? Like,
she has sneaky speed. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, it's kind of game changing.
That's not Selma Basha, but she's up there. Yeah.
She's quick. She's quick for sure. But no, like, when she first came in, to me, she was just like depth for Lucy Bronze. Mm-hmm, but now it's to the point where her and Lucy Bronze are on the field at the same time. Like, I think, like, okay, put it this way, I was really disappointed that she did not start versus Arsenal, and neither did Baltimore. Like, to me,
I was happy she didn't start against Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was worried about her.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, that to me, like, I think that's she's just tactically so important. And I think what you saw against Barcelona especially was that three at the back with the wing backs pushing up, right? Joining the attack, right? Like, that's you saw Chelsea kind of spreading the ball out, attacking, through the wings, right? And then once you spread your opponent out, then you can, play inside, do some more of the intricate things. But yeah, I think Carpenter is she's added to really all three phases. Like, defensively, she covers a lot of ground, and like she was covering, I think, a lot for Millie Bright in particular. She's good in the build up and possession. And she's there with the goal contributions. I mean, she really, she should have scored a second goal. She was pretty gutted that she didn't score that goal.
Can I just say go back and watch that, and it's so funny. Captain starts celebrating before she misses it, and not even just Captain, but Erin Cuthbert literally falls to her knees when it goes wide. Like, she actually just is
they thought that was a goal for sure. They were like, oh,
but she genuinely
no.
falls to her knees. It's so funny.
I actually I didn't see that, but I don't blame them.
But I only ask because, again, I hate being that I got my ball knowledge from FIFA, but Ellie Carpenter is one of those players that I always used to transfer to Arsenal in FIFA, where I'm just I want her on the team because I know how good she was with Leoness and how much she did, and when you guys got her, I was just so upset. I was like, why did she go to Chelsea? I knew she was coming to England because of the whole we all know why. I hate talking about that kind of stuff, but we all know why she was here. And so I was just why Chelsea? Why is it always them that gets these kind of players on good deals? I would have loved her at Arsenal, kind of providing depth for Emily Fox, and so. But at the same time, I get it, right? She's starting with Chelsea, she's making the impact. So good on her. I was just curious from a Chelsea fan perspective, how you felt about it. Cause I feel there wasn't as much fanfare in her arrival. And I think now a lot of Chelsea fans are starting to realize oh shit, this is a baller, a legit player.
Yeah. I mean, she's a candidate for newcomer of the season, which is not something I was expecting.
Yeah. Definitely. Real quick, so how it stands for the WSL teams in the table for Champions League. United is in 4th at the moment, with 9 points after 4 games. And just a reminder, the top 4 move on to the knockouts, and 5 through 12 are then in the playoffs for those last quarterfinal spots. Chelsea's in 6th with 8 points, and Arsenal is 10th with 6 points.
But Arsenal have, in my opinion, the more favorable matchups, right? Because Chelsea still have Roma and Wolfsburg, who Wolfsburg seem to be flying through a lot of teams right now. United, they still have Leoness at home, and Juventus, who's a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arsenal have, I can never pronounce their name, Havering. And then they also, the next opponent is FC20. So on paper, Arsenal have 6 points in the bag. On paper. I stress on paper because you never know. But Arsenal should be able to say that they could finish the group stage with 12 points. And I think, I think just looking at the standings, I think that might, I don't think it'll be enough to get them in the top 4, but I think 12 points will be enough to get them a pretty good seed in that kind of playoff spot. So,
I agree. I don't think it's enough for top 4,
but I think at least, at the very least, they'll be safe and not get bounced out of the group stage. So thankful for that.
All right. Then we also had the other domestic cup, which was the League Cup, the Subway Eat Fresh Footlong Cup with the Cookies Trophy. This one, I'm just going to run through results. Aston Villa drew Birmingham 3-3. We also remember that AD French was at Birmingham.
She had a
And
phenomenal game, yeah.
she had a phenomenal game because how it works for this one in the group matches, if they draw, they go immediately to penalties to get another point, and Birmingham won on penalties. City beat Nottingham Forest 2-0. London City beat Ipswich Town 2-0. Everton bounced back and beat Newcastle 3-1. West Ham, on the other hand, lost to Portsmouth 2-0. Spurs beat Bristol City. If you remember, Bristol was in the league last year in WSL last season, but Spurs beat them 1-0. And then Leicester City got absolutely thrashed by Crystal Palace and lost 3-0 to them. So really, like, not a good week for Leicester City. I actually don't remember what minute this happened, but I think when we're talking about this match, we have to say what happened. It turned from a football match into a WWE showdown.
Suplex City happened. Suplex City happened.
There was a little spat after a bad tackle, I guess. A little spat before the smackdown. A little spat, and then one Risha Littlejohn. If you remember, she's Katie McCabe's ex. Completely just, I guess she got shoved, and then she grabbed, I don't even know which player, I think it was Kane, by the neck, just like held her around the neck and slammed her to the ground with no hesitation. Like, I just watching it, I was appalled.
I don't want to say what I want to say, but like, I'm just going to say it like that. Being Katie McCabe's ex and having that kind of moment, like, what was that relationship like? Because, like, those I hate talking about player relationships, but, like, what was that like? Because, holy shit.
Well, okay,
like, those two personalities.
I only mention it because I feel like, no offense, or maybe offense to her. I'm not a big fan of Rachel Littlejohn, I'll put it out there. And so I only mention that because I'm like, I think people only know her because of Katie McCabe. Like we were saying, I didn't know she still played. Marc, you were saying you didn't know she still played. I know she has the podcast with her twin sister. That's it.
Listen,
but apparently she's here.
she was on her Perk Angle type of shit. Because she was suplexing motherfuckers in that cup. That was what is up with Woso this year? Because we've had, shout out to Alyssa Thompson, because like she's been on the end of 2 different hair pulls this season, where it's like, you know what I mean? Like she dealt with it in the NWSL with what is it, from Racing Louisville, Taylor, right? Like she's had to deal with hair pulls in the WSL. Like we've seen hair pulls, we've seen suplexes. Like it just came out that the Spotify Wrapped had like a lot of NWSL players with like Drake and Morgan Wallen and Chris Brown as their top artists. Like Woso is clearly not okay this year, and I don't know what's happening. Like people are getting put through tables. It is ECW out there. Like I don't understand it, but like, can we just chill the fuck out for like a little bit, you know? But yeah, like I think that was the story of the Subway Cup. Was just that was the most wild scenes I've ever seen. Like
it was wild.
That and the fact that West Ham lost to Portsmouth. Can you, without looking at Google, can you name one Portsmouth player right now? Because I'll tell you right now, I can't.
I did a double take on that. I was like, what?
Who's Portsmouth? Do we even... Let me look at Google right now, and let me see where Portsmouth women's team is in standing.
Do you want to know where they are in the table?
I do, because I'm looking at this right now. They are 11th in the WSL 2 table of 12 teams. They are 11th. West Ham, we've talked about this before, where it's like no matter how bad a WSL team is, they seem to do good against their, championship level opponents. The bottom of the WSL 2 absolutely dog walked West Ham. And I think
And
that
after you come off a win, like a good win off Everton, that's what I'm saying. You can't. I don't know about these teams.
we don't know. They can be so good and then be absolutely dog shit. I don't understand it. I don't know. That's why I say, are we sure we're going to be better at predictions this week? Because I don't know. I don't know.
You're right. I don't
I'm going
know.
to be real. At this point, I'm just guessing.
And like, okay, there was like a lot of rotation in the squad, but still,
It doesn't matter.
but still,
11th in the WSL 2. 11th out of 12. I can listen. I don't think that I'm good enough to be any pro player, but I can probably go out there and put a shift in against the 11th team in the WSL 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even one of those guys that feels confident about, like, I can be, like, no, I know I'll get cooked by a lot of professionals, but, like, 11th in the W. Not like a top team, not like okay, this team might be, this 11th. They are in their own relegation battle to go to third division football. That is, listen, West Ham, new ownership tomorrow.
Have some shame.
New ownership tomorrow.
So the quarterfinal matches have been set, and those will be played Sunday, December 21st. It's going to be Crystal Palace versus Arsenal.
I feel bad.
Rachel Littlejohn will not be there because I believe she has a 5-match ban now. It was a 3-match ban.
Can you imagine that reunion between her and Katie McCabe?
God.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Actually, I don't know why. Just.
I mean, it's not going to happen now, but can you imagine what that would have been like? Oh my God.
Yeah, I think so. Initially, she got a 3-match ban, and then I think Leicester was like, she needs more, and they like pushed for like whatever the thing is for an extended ban, and so she's now at 5 matches.
I feel bad for Crystal Palace because, like, I'm looking at this table and they're in 8th, and I think about last season when they were into the WSL, and there were just so many opportunities for them to stay up.
Yeah.
And like they were a team that I really did enjoy watching. And like, you know, all jokes aside, like to see them fall off as bad as they have, like I feel bad. But I mean, I'll be honest, they have a chance against Arsenal because I'll be real, I don't care about this cup. Like I'm focused on Champions League, I'm focused on top 3, I'm focused on making sure half the team doesn't get injured against Liverpool. Like I don't care. I don't care about the Subway Cup with the cookie on the side. I'll be real.
Fair enough. We have a rematch of Liverpool versus Chelsea as well, and then United versus Spurs, and West Ham versus Man City. Man City or London
West
City?
Ham? How did West Ham make it?
Nah, it's got to be City and City, right?
No, it is West Ham. Because, like, yeah, that's right. London City lost somewhere.
How did they make it when they got cleared by Portsmouth?
Because this was the group stage, the end of the group stage.
Oh, that's right. It was the group stage.
And so it's just, yeah.
By the time they played Portsmouth, like,
they were already through on the group.
Yeah, because Brighton had lost to Charlton somehow earlier.
That's at least respectable. Charlton are a top team in the WSL too.
No, but the Crystal Palace beating Leicester kind of really upset that group because that kept London City out.
Yes.
So London City.
That's what it was. London City went to 3rd and Leicester City was in 2nd. But they didn't make the quarterfinals either because it was only the first, like, I guess whatever.
And I guess like just like real quick as we move past the Subway Cup, just to mention the news that we heard recently is that starting next season, teams in the Champions League will no longer be allowed to compete. So enjoy it while you can, because this is most likely the last season you're going to see, you know, Chelsea for sure. The last season you're going to see City for sure. Possibly the last season for a while you see Arsenal. You know. So teams that make it into the Champions League stages are not going to be a part of this domestic cup anymore. Which, like, I guess that's fair to give other teams a chance, but also, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the matches that are happening this weekend.
Yep.
And we will go through predictions really quick. But like we mentioned, tomorrow, December 6th, tomorrow's the 6th, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Saturday, noon, local kickoff at the Emirates, Arsenal versus Liverpool. Treb, prediction.
So, like I said, there's no Daphne Van Domselaar. There's no Chloe Kelly. We'll probably get Leah Williamson getting 15, 20 minutes. Hopefully we get Olivia Smith start. This is the Borb show now, because for those who forgot, Manu tore her ACL. She's out for the year. If Daphne is going to be out for the rest of the calendar year, at least, this is now the Borb show. So we're going to see what she's about. And like I said before, like, Liverpool have been knocking on some big results. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to crash out if we are the team that they finally beat. Like, it would be so Arsenal to allow them to finally get a win against us at our most vulnerable. But I think just, a long-winded answer of saying Arsenal win 2-1.
Okay.
I think it's going to suck. I think it's going to suck. It is going to suck watching. But I think we do just enough to get the 2-1 win.
Marc?
I'm going to say 3-1 Arsenal.
I hope you're right. Because goddamn, dude, I do not feel confident. I think if Olivia Smith starts, I think we score a lot. Because like I said, she creates so well.
I feel like Olivia Smith might
And I hope she has like her Eberechi Eze moment, like when he had against the Spurs and just like scored a hat trick, even though he never played for the Spurs, right? Like, I hope Olivia Smith goes up against her old squad and just puts in 4. And like,
yeah, I just want this to be the Olivia Smith and Taylor Hines show, just because they're going up. Not that they had any like beef with their old squad. It was just
no, I don't think they did.
But like, yeah, just to go up against them. I think 3-1's a good guess. I'll just go one more. I'll say 4-1. Once again, they have to have their get right match at some point. And maybe this is it.
They are hurt, Deepti. Like, they're hurting, boss. They're tired. They're tired, Grandpa.
It might even be 4-2, considering who's in goal. Maybe I'll go 4-2.
I don't know if I'm more confident with Borbe in goal than I was with Manu, right? But like, we'll see. Like, this is a great test.
I have no baseline for Borbe, so all right, I'll stick with 4-2.
I just hope we get a win. I just get the 3 points.
That's a lot of goals. Anyway,
survive in advance. 2-1. Anyway,
that's the only one on Saturday. Sunday we have several games. The rest of them. Sunday 12 p.m. local kickoff at King Power Stadium. Leicester versus Man City. Gosh, this is going to be a City show. I'm going to say 5-0 City.
Jesus, I think you're giving City too much credit.
Because it's at Leicester, I'm going to say 3-1 City.
I'm with Marc. I say 3-1 City.
Okay. Then, also Sunday, 12 p.m. local kickoff at
this is the one I'm excited about.
Stadium. Yes, this is going to be a good one. London City versus Brighton. Oh, this one I don't know.
I think as a neutral, this is like the match of the week, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's one of those matches where it's like, is Brighton really turned the corner? And is London City really going to be a top 3 team? Like, I think both teams come into this one with like big time narratives to prove. So like, yeah. What do you think, Deepti?
Me first. I think I'm gonna
Oh, I mean,
go. I think London City. They're at home, so I think they're gonna get the win. But I'm gonna say. I think I'll just say 2-1.
That was
I'm
gonna be
gonna,
mine.
is it? I'm going to be a little bit different. I'm going to say 3-3 draw.
Okay.
Even though I'm leaning Brighton win, I think 3-3 draw is fair.
Without Ajamang, I think Brighton
I
was able
know,
to
but
score
that's what I'm.
against Leicester, but I
I
don't know who else would score that much
I mean, Rosa
for
Kafaji
them.
still scores for Brighton,
Yeah.
and if other players are coming to the fold, I look at London City and they've given up a couple goals this, like they're one of those teams that are good to concede at least a goal or two every match that they
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
At the same time, like them being at home, I think that they are also a team that, like we said, they're getting better. I think that they are going to be good enough to fight for the result, but I think it'll be 3-3. I think going into the 80th minute, it'll be 3-2 Brighton, and I think London City gets that third goal to equalize, I feel like.
All right.
I'm giving you like in-depth
Extended,
predictions here,
yeah,
guys.
prediction.
Yeah, I'm giving you guys how it's going to happen. I can see it.
I'm gonna say 3-2 London City.
Right. I mean, you can still say 2-1 if that's what you thought initially. We don't all have to
I know
be
I have to be
different.
different.
He's
Okay.
like, you're just trying to go with the extra points now. He's like, I
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
pull away. I have to pull away.
Then also Sunday 12. Are they all at 12 p.m. Sunday? It looks like it.
Yeah, well, all
Except
of
for
them
the
except
Chelsea
Chelsea
one.
Everton.
Yeah, except for
Yeah,
the Chelsea Everton.
yeah.
Sunday 12 p.m. at Lehigh Community Stadium, Man United versus West Ham.
If this was at Chigwell, I would have a different answer. But I think you mentioned earlier, Deepti, like this is a match we should see Fallon Tullis-Joyce return in.
Yes, so there was potential return. I think Marc Skinner said
See,
that.
this is what's hard. If
Yeah.
Fallon Tullis-Joyce returns, I think you're looking at a 3-1 United win. But if Fallon Tullis-Joyce doesn't return, I think you're looking at a 1-1 draw.
Should we predict for both? Just in case.
I feel like that's fair. Because I don't know, just like I said, in my opinion, I've said this all season, I feel like Fallon Tullis-Joyce has been, like I've said it before, there's a difference between a number one goalkeeper who's good and a number one goalkeeper who's great. And I think good goalkeepers prevent you from losing matches, and I think great goalkeepers help you win matches. And I feel like PTJ has won them 3 to 4 matches this season. And I just feel like if she's not there, they are a completely different side. So I just feel like, in fairness to the prediction, I feel like if she's not going to play, like that would absolutely change how I feel about this match. Like I said, if she's not playing, it's a draw. If she's playing, it's a win for United.
I mean, I agree with you. I might do. I don't know if West Ham even scores if she's there. So I might say.
Blown up by Portsmouth. Nobody knows. That's crazy to me.
If PTJ is back, and I think I don't have the article pulled up right now, but I think Marc Skinner said that she is available for selection, and so if she is available, I'm assuming she's gonna start, because if not, then why? Like, it's not like she's gonna come in part way. So
as a goalkeeper,
I'll say,
right? Yeah, so officially she is available for selection. It doesn't say that she's going to be selected, just that she's available for selection.
Okay, I'll say 2-0 if she's there, and I like your 1-1 if she's not.
I'm gonna also say 2-0 if she's there. If she's not, I'm gonna say 2-2.
Okay. And then we have Tottenham Spurs versus Aston Villa at Brisbane Road, also Sunday, 12 p.m. local time. Man, this one's also kind of intriguing. I think they're kind of, if we get a good Villa, it could be like they're kind of on par for me, so I think it might be a draw. I'm gonna say I'll say a 2-2 draw.
I feel like I'm gonna say 3-1 Villa.
3-1 Villa, okay.
We all know that I've said that outside of them playing Liverpool, I'm never picking Tottenham to get a result again. 2-1 Villa.
All right.
Mostly because we also need it. As an Arsenal fan, like we need them to start losing games. So 2-1 Villa. Please. Please, Villa, please.
And finally, we have Chelsea versus Everton at 2:30 p.m. local time on Sunday at Kingmeadow Park. I believe that's probably going to be the BBC matchup. Yeah, BBC Red Button is what it's going to be on. I need to think about this one.
Yeah, because it kind of depends on if well, not depends on necessarily, but if Goggle playing makes a difference.
Does it? It's still Chelsea.
No, I know.
At
I'm
home,
gonna say
mind you.
3-1. I'm gonna say 3-1 Chelsea.
I feel like Gago is going to play because I think she played over the international break, so I think she's ready. Plus Chelsea's playing at home, so I think that's a bit of an advantage. I'm gonna say I'll say 3-2 Chelsea.
Interesting. I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea.
Do you think Hannah Hampton plays this one, or is it going to be Peng again?
It's probably Peng, because I think Hampton's supposed to be out till the new year.
That doesn't change too much. I think Alyssa Thompson gets another goal. I think they win 2-1. I think Chelsea does just enough at home to get this win. Yeah.
All right. And that is that. Anything else? We covered a lot today.
We actually covered a lot, but we actually got in under 2 hours, which is like impressive for us. I'm not going to lie.
A lot of soccer next week. Men's and women's Champions Leagues running concurrently. I think for the first time this season.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I think first time. I don't remember it happening any season actually. Maybe
are Chelsea
I'm wrong,
men in Champions League? I feel like they are, right?
You said Chelsea men?
Yeah, are they in Champions League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I legitimately don't I don't know. Like I know that the City men are just because between Crunk and Tom, they're always talking about it, right?
Right.
And I know that with Chelsea men, it's kind of I just kind of always seem to forget about where they are at. Like I know that they struggled a lot last season, but I couldn't remember if they were able to finish top 4 or not. So
yeah, that means all got there.
Yeah, that means all 3 of our teams will be doing, because I know with Arsenal, the women play Tuesday, the men play Wednesday, so it's going to be a fun week of Champions League football. At least for the Arsenal side, both teams have favorable matchups. The women play FC 20, which I feel like should be a win, and the men play Club Brugge, which I feel like should be a win. But yeah, lots of football. I just need an Arsenal win tomorrow. I'm gonna be real. Listen, for those that don't know, it is officially my birthday week. We'll be recording one more episode before my birthday, but this is the time of the year where I just need Arsenal to win. I don't care how ugly it is. Please, for the sake of my happiness, don't let this be the time that they lose. I can't remember the last birthday I had where Arsenal actually played well. Like, it feels like this is a time of year where they shit themselves all the time.
Oh, no.
Please, guys, please.
All right, you heard them. Please win for Treb's birthday. Okay. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, at the end of your streaming reviews are coming out. If we are one of your most listened to podcasts, please let us know if we're on your list.
One more thing. Because we did talk about it briefly. I know we haven't confirmed it, but I don't care. I'm confirming it now. There has been talk of people wanting mailbags. If you have questions for us, please drop them. We will happily answer any and all questions. We're going to start working on getting a mailbag segment. So please, if you have questions, anything you want to know, anything you feel like we should talk about, any comments, any concerns, drop them in, wherever you listen. Let us know. We'll get to them. And
yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure we get that out there. We absolutely are more than happy to do that. We love interacting with everybody. So if you have them, drop them, and we'll answer them.
We like to talk. We talk a lot, but if we want to be able to interact with you, and answer your questions, make it more on both sides as well. So absolutely, we're going to start a mailbag section. That'll be really fun. But on top of that, hit the follow button, stay up to date when new episodes drop, leave a rating, leave a review, leave your questions, whatever it is. We'd love to hear your feedback. There are 12 teams, 6 matches, 4 hosts. You're listening to the 12. Arsenal win for Treb's birthday, please.
Please, his birthday. I need to refill that. I'm out. We're pretty much done.